system in place to keep us in chains. By a show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same percent? Trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and for the millions watching at home, DCK Productions proudly brings to you the greatest podcast in the world! The greatest podcast in the world? Suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. I appreciate it if you both suck it. Suck it!
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go. And welcome everybody to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome, Derek. How is everybody this wonderful Friday, August 28th of the year 2020? What a week it has been. I've had a fun-filled week of comedy, performances, and just everything else in between. Woo! I mean, it's been really fun. Monday we had two amazing entertainers in Ike Avelli and Tim Moss. Please check them out next month on the Rochester Fringe Fest online with their show 50 Shades of Gay. Then on Tuesday, I had... Who did I have on Tuesday? Oh, I Am Keynotes on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I had K. Rose. And then last night, I had Anna Baby. And I've had two fantastic, performances this week from the Foglings and then from the Underground Weathermen. And now tonight, I'm closing it off with another stellar musician. So... tonight, my guest is a London Music Stellar Award winning and singer and songwriter, new BBC UK recording music groups, artist BaShir Hogue. Started at the age of 10 and has been basically doing it ever since. This gentleman has done it all and continuing to knock it out and has a new album coming out next month. And we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So please, without any further ado, please welcome to the show, Mr. BaShir Hogue. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good. How you doing? How's everybody doing? I'm great. How's it going?
Good. So how's life for you during this crazy time?
I'm coping. I'm coping with it. The mask and it's new. This is a new thing. I really don't like the mask, but I'm going to do it so we can be safe. But it's something to cope with, but I'm coping. It's okay.
Yeah, no, right? Aren't we all? Where are you at right now?
I am, as far as the state or what?
Yeah, state, yeah.
I am in Delaware, actually. Yeah.
You're right up the street from me.
Oh, okay. That's great.
I'm in Northern Virginia, right outside of D.C.
All right, I like.
See, we're all in the DMV, baby.
I like that.
That's awesome. So how have you been dealing? You said you've been dealing with the the mask, and you don't like it, but you're doing it like everybody else.
Right.
But how's everything else been going? I mean, not being able to perform, not being able to really connect with your fans outside of social media, and all this other stuff, sucks. I mean, especially for me as as a stand-up comic as well.
Yeah.
If I didn't have this show, I wouldn't be able to communicate with anybody. So I mean, tell me what you've been doing with that kind of stuff as well.
I've just been doing like heavy promotion, like on the web, like the internet, because that's right now. That's the only That's the only means of getting something out or letting people see something. A concert is different because, you know, you need the live people there. You know, people like, you need that there. And when you don't have it, it's very different. So what I've been doing, like I said before, is just the promotion, you know, on social media, talking to people. I have like a comedy video up that's called here for the laughs. So there's different things I'm doing so I can stay relevant, you know, because the saying goes, you know, out of sight, out of mind. So I definitely that's what I'm doing, you know, just like every other artist right now. Because when I see artists like post stuff, they're home. They're like, well, I'm home, just saying hi to y'all. So because there's nothing else they could do, you know. But yeah, you know, this is what I do. You know, this is what I'm doing right now.
So are you planning on doing any virtual shows or anything like that, or like maybe drive-in shows like some of the others are doing right now?
Yeah, those are in the works as we speak. We're talking about some virtual shows and concerts that I'm going to do with other people. That way, it can be not just me only. It can be like a community type of base for artists. You know, a variety of artists that can sing as well. So yeah, we're that's in the works coming up. Yep, this fall.
That'd be a cool little festival idea, virtual festival. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands, a band named Trivium out of Orlando, did a virtual show not too long ago. They're signed with Roadrunner, and they did it through live.org, I think it was what it was called. And they set up at Full Sail in Orlando and used one of their stage setups. And it turned out really, really well. I mean, they sold the tickets for like $8 each.
Wow.
And they sold like 20,000 tickets. I mean, it was sick. So I mean, they did a great job, and they're doing it again tomorrow for free on Twitch, which I can't believe they're doing. But
wow,
you know, so lots of band. I mean, like Kid Capri is doing stuff on his Instagram all the time. You know, everybody's doing something. I mean, like Bert Kreischer, the comedian, and Eliza Scherzinger are doing like drive-in tours right now. So I mean, you know, got to get creative. You know,
you do. Yep, stay relevant. Yep.
Exactly. So, talk about your new single and your new album that you got coming out next month.
So, the new single is called "Love You Back" and it's out now on all musical platforms. And I wrote that actually doing the dishes, you know, and thinking about. So, I was washing some dishes. I forgot what I had the other night. It was something, but it was hard to get off the plate. I guess that's when you leave the stuff in there on the sink or whatever. It just kind of, yeah. But anyway, so I was washing the dishes and after started singing, I'm tripping over you, babe. And I already had the music because the music was already sent to me. And then I sent it to my producer. We came up with this and said, okay, this is going to be a single. So it's out. And I wrote it because I feel like that what we see now is a lot of like potential and it could be temporary love from what people are seeing now rather than what we used to hear. And that's, you know, unconditional love, like baby, baby, take me back. You don't hear that too much anymore. So with this song, it's a man talking to, you know, it's a man talking to, you know, a woman that he's with and he messed up and he want to come back. So that's all in a nutshell. I want to come back because the grass ain't greener on the other side. I mean, with the pollution we got today, I don't think any grass is real green. But you know, it's just with everything we got, you know, it's like love me back. So it's called Love Me Back. Love You Back. Sorry, Love You Back. Yeah. Yeah. The album, as you said, it'll be out this September. You know, and it's called Love Factor, Song of Solomon in Modern Days, and that's gonna be a trip. That's gonna be a trip. Yeah, that's gonna be a roller coaster.
So, what was the idea behind the album, especially with that name? So, I mean, what was the idea behind it?
Well, I took the theme of, well, not the theme, but I took the notion of Love You Back from the single, and then I said, okay, let me call it Love Factor, and then I said, hey, you know, since it's about love, and since I want to go a little deep with people, why don't I take it from Song of Solomon, you know, and actually allow people to know who he was, because he's not talked about as much. So I said, let me talk about, you know, him in the things that he's done. But what we're doing with that is we're bringing him up to this date. So when you hear it, you'll hear Solomon coming up to 2020, and 2020 is a mess right now. So he has to come in the midst of all of this. But he's coming in the midst of all of this to say, listen, I got a lot of concubines. I messed up certain things of vanity. This is this and this is that. So that whole concept was to say, let me tell a story. And I wanted to tell a story. There's a song on the album called Personality Problems. And no one really knew, but if you look into it and dig into Solomon had some type of schizophrenia to him, because he one minute he would think this way, and next moment he wouldn't think this way, and then all of a sudden he'll change it to a different person. So the song is the album pretty deep. It's pretty deep. I didn't know I was gonna go this deep. I didn't know, but it's deep.
So would you consider this album a concept record?
Absolutely, I would.
So it tells a story from A to Z. I mean, it's just awesome.
Yep, it's a story. Yep.
Concept records are my favorite.
Yeah.
They really, really, truly are.
Yeah.
And when they're done properly, and not just like having a theme concept record. No. The ones that tell a story.
Right.
Those are just epic.
Right.
One of the best bands that do it, is a band called Coheed and Cambria.
Okay.
And they do these stories that are actually tied in with the comic book series that they write as well. Mm-hmm. So it's just this amazing, sci-fi / real life stuff, and it's just, when they do it right, it's done right. Another band, Shinedown, did one last year called Monster. Mm-hmm. So many good, records have come out of concept records, and it just, wow. It's my favorite thing in the world to do, because you can listen, one of those things where you have to listen to the whole record, where you're pretty much forced to listen to it, and if you do it, you get just like this whole, this whole new experience that you never experienced before. Because with albums these days, they release albums just to release singles, and sometimes those singles are the only thing that are good on that album, so you're listening to only 3 of the 10 songs or 3 of the 12 songs, but when you write a concept album, regardless of how many singles have it come out of it, when you, as a songwriter, I know this for a fact because I do the same thing.
Right.
You put your heart and soul into each and every song. Therefore, no matter what, they're all singles to you, because they all tell that story, that put that puzzle pieces together.
See, and you don't even know that what you're saying is what the producers were saying to me, because they were saying what you're doing is every song is a single. So that's a good thing for me, but at the same time, it's the concept. It tells the actual story from the beginning to the end. So you're going to get like this whole, certain things going to be visual. So you're going to get this whole movie thing where it's like, wow, this is a great movie. So that's exactly what, so you didn't even know, but that's exactly what's going on.
Well, I didn't know that was how you guys did it. I mean, but 20 years ago, when I first started in the entertainment business, I was a musician, or I still am a musician. I was a guitarist, and I was a touring guitarist. I did with a couple bands, and I did a bunch of stuff in Orlando and stuff like that. But the music scene in Orlando at the time just sucked. I mean, it's gotten a lot better now,
right.
But I mean, at the time in the late 90s, it was just nobody knew what they wanted to do. Everybody was just writing music just to get on the radio.
Wow.
And now it was just not my thing at all. So I mean, I ended up becoming a professional wrestler and a stand-up comic. So that's what I ended up doing, and starting a talk show. I mean, right. Hey, whatever, So I mean, my heart and soul has always been in the music business. So I mean, the majority of people I talk to on the show are actually musicians, and I cannot go a day without listening to music. I mean, I will, like I was telling you earlier, I'm usually, on the computer ready to go about 15, 20 minutes early. But in reality, I'm actually in my studio about 45 minutes earlier, just listening to music and just rocking out and, finishing stuff up and just, chilling out, because it's just something I have to do. And, it's people like you that give people like me an outlet when we can't, have that outlet ourselves. So it means a lot, because whether it's mental health stuff like I have and we talk about here a lot, or whether it's just straight up unity of people.
Yeah.
You know, unity of religion, color, race, creed, all of that stuff. Music is the one unifying factor we have in this world.
Absolutely.
And when it's done right, you know, it puts smiles on people's faces like nothing else can do.
Wow. Especially now. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge comic book fan, and I'm a big movie junkie as well.
Oh,
And you know, my life was complete last year when I watched Avengers Endgame. And I can still watch that movie, and it just puts a smile on my face, like I'm a 5-year-old again. But at the same time, when I listen to music, it just does something else, and it's very centering. Put it that way.
It is. It is. It is. Make you think.
Yeah. So you got in the music business about 10 years old.
Yeah.
So what was your path like to that point? What exactly made you say, hey, this is what I want to do with my life?
I was watching, well, two things. I was watching Michael Jackson do the moonwalk. And I asked my mom, how did he do that? She said, I don't know. So, and then I kept watching him over and over, and I said, wow, this guy is a genius. Then I saw Prince, and I thought Prince was Michael Jackson, but they wasn't the same. I saw those two, and I said, wow, these two are great. And also I got my first solo at my church. So those two things that made me say, okay, this is what I want to do. And
hold up a second.
Go ahead.
Something that you didn't know about me was the reason why I got into music to begin with as well, is because of Michael Jackson and Prince as well. I was in my bio that I've set out, and it's been published and stuff like that. But one of the things I say in there is that when I first watched Michael Jackson's Thriller at 5 years old, or whatever age I was when that came out, you know, I watched it, but I wasn't scared in any which way, shape, or form. Because it was like, for me, I was sitting down and watching a music lesson by the greatest musician of all time.
Yeah.
And all I did was sit there and study it. I watched it over and over and over again. And I was just watching just the art behind it and the music behind it. And I just fell in love. Yeah. So you and I are on the same plane as far as that goes, brother. So continue. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I wanted... That's awesome. That's cool as shit. Let's go.
So, basically, when I did the solo at my church, I was standing up singing this adult song, and my mom and my dad, they knew from there. They said, okay, he can sing, and what are we going to do? I told my mom I wanted to go to school, and I went to school for a while. And so from there, I would see certain professionals that were write for other people, and they were like, okay, let's record you. The thing that happened with me was they didn't put me in the studio right away. They wanted to develop me, so that way when it was time for me to record anything, I knew what I was doing behind the mic. So I'm grateful for that. So around that time, it was good for me, and then I would say getting up to like 10, 11, 12, around like 12, 13, I was going to sign a deal with the Face Records. However, my mother was like, no, not at this time, because he's too young. And I was pissed off. I was mad. I said, what?
I would be too.
Yeah. But I'm glad she saved me, because there were some things that I didn't know, that all they wanted was to, just sign me, and that was it. And I didn't know that, artists would just sit on the shelf and they designed us. I didn't know that at that time. So I probably would have been one of those, or just, one of something on the lines of maybe Tevin Campbell, where he just sung and never really saw anything. So I'm kind of glad that, at that time, she saved me. So I got into I saw some stuff professionally in the industry around that time. And it was very interesting. I just didn't know because I was young, but it was interesting. Yep.
So when you finally did sign a record deal, how old were you?
Oh, I was old. I was an adult. I was 24.
24.
Yeah, I was 24 years old. Yeah. Wow. I went all the way back there. Yeah, I was 24 years old and I was happy just to sing. Yeah, I didn't know nothing about no record deal or they was like, can we sign you? I said, I don't care. Let me just do, let me just do a record. I'm cool. Did the record. I mean, it went pretty well. It's just that I didn't know it was doing pretty well. So stuff. I was happy about what I was doing. I just didn't know the knowledge, like I know now. So
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. I don't regret anything of it. I don't.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I mean, that was a 14-year gap of tasting the dream,
Absolutely,
and then having it taken away, and then tasting it, and then but the right reasons, obviously, because your mom was looking out for your best interest.
Yes.
Moms can do that sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, not my mom. She'll just take it away from me just to laugh at me.
Wow.
My mom's my number one fan. She knows I love to bust on her.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. Her and I have a weird, strange relationship. But anyway, so that first time that you released your album,
yes,
you're driving up and down the road, and your song comes up on the radio.
Yeah.
What went through your head?
Where was I? I was parked outside of I was with my former manager at the time, and we was just talking, and we heard it on the radio. And I said, "That's me." I said, "You playing the CD?" He said, "No, that's the radio." I was like, "Oh my God!" So I don't know. I think I was stunned because I was like, "That's actually me playing on the radio." And he said, "Yeah, I didn't know they was gonna play it. Why? You my manager." But anyway, it was just weird. I don't know why I say it's weird, but it was so weird to hear myself on the radio and them saying, "This is so and so, check it out." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I don't, how some people you see on like movies like, "Oh my God, that's good," like, "Oh my God, that's me." I didn't do that. I was just like, "That's me." So yeah, it was weird. I can't really explain the feeling. It was just weird. Like, wow. I wasn't mad or sad. I was happy. But I was like, this is kind of cool. Everybody else in the car was like, "Oh my gosh, it's on the radio." I was like, "Okay, that's nice." So I don't know. It was just weird. Yeah.
So it was more shocking than anything else?
Yeah, it was more shocking. It was more shocking because I didn't think that the thing was I didn't know what was going on most of the times behind the scene. Like I said before, all I wanted to do was just sing. So all that work that had to be done, that it wasn't done by me. So when I heard it, I was like, that's why I was shocked. I was like, oh, they actually did what they said they were going to do. So that's one of the reasons why I was shocked. And the other reason was because it was like, well, I finally got on the radio. So that's why I was shocked, and I was happy too at the same time. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Absolutely. I mean, what else can you do in that moment?
Right.
But yeah, I've seen way too many, YouTube videos or stuff like that where the first time they get on the radio, they're just freaking out, like you were saying. Yeah, and it's cute and it's funny, but at the same time, it's like, come on, this is something you worked for, enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, how old are you now?
I am 42.
42. So I'm 39. So we're from the same generation.
Yeah.
In the last 18 years that you've been doing this now professionally assigned, what is like the biggest struggle that you've had?
My biggest struggle was consistency with others. I'm like you. If I'm into something like music, and if I sleep it, if I eat it, if I dream it, if I wake up with it, I'm consistent in it. If you tell me that I'm going to be, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do, I'm wholeheartedly in it. So I think I expected too much from people that didn't understand it. So they were around me, but what I mean by that is, so I have learned now that you have to keep people around you that's not going to give you a yes all the time. That's going to say, hey, no, this is not going to work. So back then I had people that was like, yeah, this nice, I like it, and I knew it myself, like, no, this ain't gonna work. But they was like, yeah, but no, go with it, and it turned out to be really bad. So I don't think, but I know back then, for me, and that struggle was more so people around me. So even with that gap, I stopped because of people. Because what they was like, well, maybe you should slow down, you know. So those were the factors, you know, just having just people around me. They meant me well in their aspect, but they wasn't good for me, if that makes sense. So yeah, but it was more so people in the people around me in reference to that. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So now the people that you surround yourself with, you look for those people that are going to tell you no.
Absolutely, because I know I'm not right all the time. Now there's sometimes I am right about what I know when it comes to music, but there's sometimes I'm not right about certain things, and it may not fit. So I want us to know that we can disagree without agreeing sometimes, or you know, I'm around people now that can say, hey, B, this is not gonna work, and I'm like, all right. And what I'll do now is I'll think about what they said, and I'll look at what they said, and I'll take a part of what they said and say, hey, you know what, maybe they're right. So that's I didn't used to do that. I'm like, nope, it's gonna go this way. So yeah. So but I think anybody that wants to be successful, they should have people around them that's going to, you know, challenge them a little bit. And I got people around me that's going to challenge me. So, and I like that. That's a good thing for me.
Awesome. I like being challenged as well. I mean, that's the only way you're going to grow. I mean, like you said, if they're just constantly saying, yeah, you're not learning anything.
Yeah.
It holds you back more than anything.
Right.
It works in life to be a yes man yourself, because you open yourself up to more doors. But if all you do is surround yourself by yes man, all it does is close those doors.
Wow.
I just made that up. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was good. I like it.
You can use it. Go ahead. I won't remember in 10 minutes. So what was your what was your childhood growing up like, especially in a religious household, you know, stuff like that? What was that like for you?
My childhood was stone cold church. I was always in church. But besides that, I would play on the block with the kids. We would play jacks, have the milk cartons and ride down the without no wheels, but ride down the block, and then I played a lot with kids, but my mother, she wasn't strict, but she was stern. If that makes I don't know. I think she was a little both. She was a little both because there were certain things I and my brothers and sisters could not do that other kids could do. It's not a bad thing. And sometimes, I wanted some freedom, not knowing that the freedom had led me to crazy stuff. But my childhood wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I mean, I saw a lot. I saw a whole lot. I saw abuse. Not with my mom and dad, but I saw abuse in my family. I saw a lot of abuse in my family. And it wasn't really cool. So I would actually, this is what I can't believe I'm going here. Woo! Dude, you got me going to some place I ain't trying to go.
I told
you. There were times when I would go to sleep or I would go in my room and I would see like this crazy stuff. And this would happen to me every single night when I was younger. And I would tell my mom, I see images in my room. She's like, boy, go back to sleep. So I would be afraid. I was always fearful of the dark. So I would keep on the light, just because so I can sleep. So I would do little stuff like tap the bed so I can hear noise just to go to sleep. So there were certain things I would do, because I was afraid. I was always afraid of stuff. I was afraid of lightning. I was afraid of thunder, and just afraid of just things because I would hear like fights and different things like that. So I would hear a lot of that, and it would scare me. So my childhood, it was cool where I would go out and play with the kids because that was my outlet. Then again, it was more so me always looking out in this one window that I had. Me and my brother would share a bunk bed, and there was a small window that I would look out into and just imagine myself here, because that was my scapegoat, you know, and I needed something to escape. And my mind was the only thing that would allow me to escape somewhere out of hearing the abuse, hearing certain things that I shouldn't have heard as a child, seeing certain things and just trying to figure out why is this happening this way. So that was my childhood all in a nutshell, you know, as far as, you know, what I've been through. Yeah.
So the abuse and the stuff that you were hearing, was that coming from like other houses outside, or was that coming from your in home? Okay.
No, it was, well, the thing is my mom and my siblings and my dad, we used to live with my grandmother a long time ago when I was younger. And my uncles lived in the house, and, you know, my aunts lived in the house. So we was all in the house, and it was like a lot of people living in the house. So you would hear, you would hear just fights with my uncles and my aunts, and, you know, abuse from my uncles to my aunts, and you would hear gunshots outside the house because of something happened with my uncle, or, you know, you heard gangs, you know, ready to come get certain people that lived in my house. It was crazy, you know. So yeah, it was in the house. It was in the house. Yeah.
And you were born and raised in Philly, right?
Yes, born and raised in North Philly. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that's a rough area.
It is.
Even now, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think your mom kept you in church to keep you away from that stuff?
She kept us in church for a lot of stuff. 'Cause, well, yeah, that was one, and the other thing was there was a lot going on with me as a young boy, because so a lot of times in church you have people or you have people that so it's like this. There are predators out there, and the thing is with the predators, it's just that, like, you know, there were some predators that came up to me because when I was younger, you know, I was a handsome boy, you know, so a lot of people would say, oh my gosh, he's so cute. And, you know, I have a twin, so they would say that about my mom, you know, tell my mom, like, your children are so adorable and they're so attractive. So my mom would see certain things, you know, around me, like, oh, hold on, this is what we're not going to do. So there were times. So those are one of the areas. That's one of the areas why she kept me in church, so I can be safe in reference to that. Not knowing that was in the church too, and just also, like you said, you know, from all the stuff that we would hear. You know, my mom went through it more than I did, but, you know, just all the stuff we would hear, and it wasn't cool. It was not cool at all. It wasn't. I'm not going to even lie to you. It wasn't cool. It wasn't. It did hurt. And it was something that I'm so glad I would never go back to. But yeah.
So, are you still a religious person now? Do you still go to church now?
Yeah. Now here's the thing. I'm not religious, but I love God. So, what I mean by that is religion will kill you. Because yes, it will. It will kill you. And I've learned that I used to be religious because that's what I knew, and that's what I knew growing up. Like, don't go to the movies, don't do this. And I was like, hold up, I ain't going to hell because I'm going to the movies. So I took a little sip. But but that's what you heard in church, and people would hear, you know, God said this. But when I found out who God was for myself, and that He loves people how they are, I was like, you know what? Nah, something ain't right. And I started looking at stuff in church, like, wait, something ain't right. Y'all a little too uptight, because the God I know, I wasn't reading about that. I read about that He was loving and He was kind, you know. So why are you teaching me fear? You know, so religious, no, but I love God.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in a Catholic household.
Okay.
And I was forced to go to a Catholic school up until the point where I was in 7th grade. So from kindergarten through 6th grade, I was in Catholic school, and I was the poor kid.
Mm.
I was there on a scholarship, or grants or whatever, and my parents barely were able to, do anything at that point. But the rich kids, knew that, and they made fun of me, and they beat the shit out of me every day.
Wow.
And for 5 years, I sat there and watched the nuns do absolutely nothing.
Wow.
And because they were the ones that were supporting the church, their parents, gave a shit ton of money, and they were all about it. And then I finally talked to my mom in my 6th grade year to let me go to public school, and that was in the to go 7th grade. So right after spring break of my 6th grade year, I came back to school, and I was, I'm leaving here in 2 months. Screw it. And I got jumped, and I fought back, and I beat the shit out of these 5 kids.
Sure.
And for the first time in 5 years, the nuns did something about it. And guess who got in-school suspension for 10 days?
You.
This guy.
Wow.
At that point, I was done. I mean, I was like, where's this is nothing but greed.
Wow.
And then, after I left Catholic school and I went to public school, I started researching. And researching. I mean, I read, the Bible front to back, both, old and new. And then I read the Quran, and I read this and I read that. And it's like, and I realized to myself, in every single one of these books that were written thousands and thousands of years ago, none of them mention the word religion in any which way, shape, or form.
This is very true.
There's only one religion that's mentioned, and that's Judaism. And at the time, being a Jew was being from Judea as being an actual culture.
Wow.
Everything else is man-made after the fact, because I didn't. So it's like when I realized that in my 7th grade year, I was like, what the hell is this? It shocked me. And, it's like, why should I fear something that nobody can even agree on?
Wow. That's
Yeah. So, I mean, do I still believe in God? Hell yeah. Because I'd have to be yes. Now, where my beginning and, I think he kind of like watches us like on TV and he interferes when he has to. But other than that, he just kind of lets his people do his thing. Right. And, the Big Bang was a snap of his finger. And then after that, he just kind of said, evolve. So, I mean, it's kind of a combination of everything. Yeah. But it's like, I know he's there. Yeah. Most likely Christ existed at some point in time. Yeah. Is he ever going to come back? Who knows? We'll find out. But, I think some of the stories in the book tell good morals. Right. But a lot of them tell really bad morals, too.
Correct.
So you and I are on the same page of that, man. And that's one of the things that, still to this day that, I get a lot of flack from, because it's like, I'm a free thinker. I'm somebody that, wants to come up to my own conclusions. And when I came to that one was eye opening for a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the coolest accomplishments, let's go back to, you again here, that I think that you've had the privilege of doing was being invited to the National Convention for President Clinton.
Yeah, that was.
What was that about?
I was a part of a organization called City Year, and it was the first. They were around before they came to Philadelphia, but I was in the first core in Philadelphia. Their culmination was going to be in Cleveland, Ohio. And when we went, President Clinton at the time was actually funding us. So they needed a singer for the actual ceremony, and they didn't know I could sing, but somebody heard me in the bathroom and they said, "BaShir can sing." And I was like, okay. So we started doing practices and stuff like that. But I didn't know I was going to sing for him yet until we actually got there. And when we got there, we went up to this office, and before we got there, they was like, "Hey, can you sing for President Clinton. I said, who? What President Clinton? And it was like, our president now. And it was myself and a few other people that were doing background with me. But the thing was, they was like, no, we need to do lead because the other girl's sick. And I said, okay, God, I'll do that. And basically, we sung the song that we made. I can't even remember the song, but I know that we sung it well. And we sung the national anthem first, and then we sung another song. And after that, he came up to the office, and you talking about security like crazy. Woo! Everything was like tight and locked down. And when we went into the room, he came in the room and say, you know, hey, listen, thank you so much for singing. I didn't know what to do. I said, you are president. So it was fulfilling. And I said, well, I really got to do this, you know. So it was great. It was, man, those were some good times. But yeah, it was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with all that being said now,
Yeah.
we've talked about your past, we talked about, you know, your music, we talked about, you know, the president and all that other stuff.
Right.
Let's talk about the world for a second here.
Sure, let's go.
Where do you see our country at right now? Like with your own eyes, what do you see right now?
Chaos. The world is in chaos. And it's sad because I always tell people, however a leader is, that's however the people will be. So the world's in chaos because of opinions being accepted without caution. I think that we with the corona and here's the thing. If you are a leader and you know that something is about to plague our city or plague our, country, you would tell us first, or, you would let us know. And now that we are in it, it's kind of like we don't know what to do because even, artists, churches, leaders, state representatives, they don't know really what to say. They're just scripted to write something. They don't really know what to say because they're trying to figure out how can I stay free from corona and all the stuff that's going on. And then just the political stuff and the racism that's going on. It's crazy. I've never lived it until today.
Yeah.
Until in this day. I mean, I've heard about it. It's funny because people say, especially for African Americans, they say, we struggle. Well, I didn't struggle. Those that came before me struggled, but now I see what they were talking about in reference to racism, even though it was for them, it was much worse. Because people always say, well, people. I'm gonna say this. Sometimes I love African American because I'm an African American, but what happens with us sometimes is because we've been through a lot. We, as this generation now, we like to say that, well, I've been through slavery. No, we haven't. The people that came before us have, but we can sympathize with what they've been through by what we see. So there's a lot that's going on with the protest, and I don't think people know how to protest because it's like, how do you go and steal? Because that's stealing. How do you go and steal something out of a Louis Vuitton store? That's stealing.
Or like when it first started, that riot and the burning of the Target.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no. So, do you feel that the Black Lives Matter movement is going too far?
Yes. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I said something on I put up a post and I said everything cannot be black. If everything was black, there would be a very boring world. There are people that are with different colors that are doing good. So for instance, Black Lives Matter. I like some of the stuff they do, but not all. But there's a saying called pro-black. Okay, I'm black. I can't get no blacker than pro-black. So when people say, "Well, are we pro-black?" So that means you're always black. So it's like I can't get no blacker than that. But I just think that when it comes to Black Lives Matter, some things can be relaxed. What I mean by that is, I've met a Black Lives Matter member, and he was This very very uptight. I said, dude, relax just a little bit because you're gonna raise up your blood pressure. You know, he's like, but you gotta understand, this is what they do to us. I said, who? You know, he's like, this is what they do. What are we doing? You know, because here's the thing. We in the hood, there's still some stuff that's going on with our, you know, black and black crime. So here's my thing. If we're gonna say Black Lives Matter, then we can't only say because of the other color that don't like us. We have to say it also because we're killing our own too. So I do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that's
So I had a conversation. I've had this conversation with everybody that that comes on the show. Because I like to get the celebrity point of view. And who was I talking to? I think it was Wednesday when I was talking to Kay Rose. Her and I were talking about this exact same thing. And
Kay Rose.
Yeah. So her and I were talking about this exact same thing, and she was saying the same things you were, and her and I came up with this consensus together that whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's mental health matters, whether it's LGBTQ lives matter, whatever the case might be, it's a separation of people, regardless.
Yeah.
And even saying all lives matter is a separation of people.
Yes.
So what her and I came to the conclusion of, and I want to see what you think about this because I think it's actually pretty profound. Americans matter.
Wow. I like that because we do. Americans do matter. Because
we're all brothers and sisters. I mean, and one of the biggest things that, that I like to say, because again, history and fact, at one point in time, we were all black and we were all coming out of Africa together, holding hands, and, and we all, did our own thing and became different, cultures and races and everything else like that. But, when we first, evolved, we were all black.
Wow.
So, we're all related in some which way, shape, or form.
Some way, yep.
So, and it's easier for me to say, as a white dude, obviously. But at the same time, I'm also part Middle Eastern as well. So it's like, I've been racially, profiled as well. Back when 9/11 happened because of my last name, I got pulled to the side every single time. And they said, oh, it's just random. And I said, bullshit. Because it would be, me, a couple black guys, and then this really nice, dressed, Middle Eastern guy. I'm like, this is not a coincidence. And so, even this during that small period of time, I mean, I felt it in ways that it sucked.
Right.
And I can't even imagine it being on the scale that it has been for, for any other race at this point in time. But at the same time, we all live here. We all live here together. And when, for the first time that I can remember, every race, every color, everybody, standing on the side protesting for Black Lives Matter. And it's pretty amazing, especially over here in the, DC area, to see all that. I mean, especially we have Black Lives Matter Avenue in DC or whatever it's called, the square or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it's still separating us. So again, Americans matter. Because again, that covers the black on black crime. That covers the idiot fucking cops. And that also covers, the good cops too. I mean, it covers a little bit of everything. And it's not all lives matter because that's not what we're saying. It's Americans.
I agree.
Because, so I mean, it's just, I think we need to stop, segregating ourselves, because it's almost like what we're doing, in a way. I mean, am I wrong on that?
No, I agree with you. America's lives do matter. Because we're all together. We really all together in this whole thing. So
we really are.
Yeah.
Especially with the Black Lives Matter movement, because we all recognize the bullshit. I got into an argument last night, with some idiot Republican who lives in Florida. I hate doing, whenever I encounter a troll on the internet, I have to engage because it's just so much fun. But he was sitting there defending the actions of the cops that shot that guy in Wisconsin, Blake. I'm like though he was reaching for a knife. Okay, does that mean that he gets shot in the back fucking however many times?
Yeah.
To where he's now paralyzed?
Yeah, not good.
as far as I'm aware, last time I checked, we have a thing in our country called innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
So what if he was reaching for a knife? We don't know. They didn't even give him the opportunity.
Yep.
They shot him in the back in front of his kids.
Yeah.
And yet this dude was like sitting there saying, well, you know, what are we going to do? Wait until it was too late?
Wow.
No. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then that idiot kid goes and, you know, on a fucking shooting spree. During...
What's it?
He was 17 years old, not even legally allowed. And some of these Republican, you know, things like Fox News and shit like that are calling this guy a patriot.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I'm some of the stuff I'm saying. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's a patriot. He's facing like 5 felonies, a misdemeanor charge, and a murder charge because he killed one of the guys or killed 3 of them or something like that. Yeah, the guy's, yeah. The world is so screwed up. And honestly, I have to, I mean, I'm going to blame it on Trump. I'm not going to blame it on the Republicans. It's specifically Trump. You know, that guy is just full of lies.
Yeah.
You know, his daughter Tiffany, and I already went off on this the other day, but his daughter Tiffany on Tuesday at the National Convention came on talking about how if you believe in religious equality for all, then you're a Donald Trump supporter. Well, that's funny.
Oh.
One of the first things he did when he was in office was sign a ban on Muslim travel to America.
Yeah, he did. He did. I remember.
And then he was talking about how, you know, regardless of, you know, who you are, if you're an American, you have a, you know, freedom of expression and blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's funny because didn't back in June during the 5-year anniversary of gay rights as far as marriage go, didn't he sign a bill pulling back, you know, transgender medical laws, preventing them from, so now doctors can actually discriminate against transgender people and refuse to treat them?
Sure did.
So where's the truth in anything that was said? You know, it's like, and the past 4 days, I've watched it, you know, begrudgingly, just so I can talk about it, because again, media,
Wow.
It was nothing but fear mongering and insults. That's all it was.
Wow.
You know, and I've had it. I've really just had it.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Biden is the cure either.
Right.
But I think Kamala Harris is. Because let me tell you what, I don't know how you feel about her, but I think she is a bitch in the best possible way. When you've got people coming on telling about how rude she was to Supreme Court justices like Kavanaugh and stuff like that, and how nasty she is, and da 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 da. Okay, that's what we need in this country. We need someone who's gonna go up there and just be a bitch and just make things happen for the better. Even though she might be evil, let her be evil because she's evil in a positive way. She's like one of those people like, oh, don't fuck with her. I'm kind of scared of her.
Oh.
But I guess in all reality, I mean, the things about it is, whatever it is, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Mike Pence, it's, you know, Kamala Harris, or whether it's Bernie Sanders, whatever it is, we need change.
I agree.
You know, and the biggest thing that pisses me off is, you know, make America great again. But can you ever remember a time when we were great?
No.
I think it was the Daily Show. Sent out a bunch of you know, correspondence to ask, you know, people at the Republican National Convention or Republican, you know, some Trump rally or something like that. You know, when was America great? And all these people gave different answers. Some say, well, after World War II, we were pretty great. And then the reporter said, oh, except for, you know, segregation and except for women's rights, you know, not being able to vote, right? Oh, except for that, yeah, of course. And then they asked another guy, when was America great? Oh, when we signed the Declaration of Independence. Oh, except for slavery, right? And he goes, yeah, except for slavery. It's like, so it's like they not even them can, you know, name a definitive time in the country's history that we've been great.
Nope.
We've been good.
Yeah.
But that's not great.
Yep. I agree.
Do you ever see a time in our lifetime when we might actually have the opportunity to say that we're a great country?
No, not the way things are going. Nope, I don't. No, because just the way a lot of people that are in the upper are like for themselves. I don't see that. If they continue with their egos and really not for the people, then I think I don't think, but I believe that we would go down another Harbor Road, because this is crazy, So I don't see that, and the reason why I don't see it is because now I have hope that things will get better, but that does not mean that hope won't be interfered with things that people may do to stay in the same place that that we've been in.
That's actually pretty awesome. You're right. I agree. Whether whether it's Black lives, Americans' lives, whatever the case might be,
Right.
I hope at least in my children's generation that they'll see change. My daughter is a lesbian, and this year she was supposed to she came out last year.
Okay.
And she was supposed to celebrate her first Pride Month this year, but obviously she couldn't.
Right.
But then at the same time, during the first time that she was able to celebrate at all, whether it be from home or at a rally,
Mm-hmm.
she saw all these great things happening, but at the same time she saw Trump rolling back, transgender rights and all this other stuff, and talking, not even acknowledging Pride Month at all. And I'm hoping that in her lifetime, she sees some change. If not for her, my 10-year-old, she just turned 10. My 10-year-old hopefully sees, in her lifetime.
Yeah.
Because, I don't hate to be cliche. I really, really do. But, it's been, 50 years, 60 years, somewhere around there, since Martin Luther King said what he said. And we still have yet to have any fucking change at all.
Yep.
The stuff that the Beatles and were singing about, in the 70s, the stuff that Jimi Hendrix was singing about in the 70s and the 60s, are stuff that still, matters today, and nobody and nobody's seeing the issue here. When we can't even look at a song from the 60s and say, yeah, oh, we've changed that.
Yeah. Yep.
That's my dad's generation, your dad's generation. And, when we can, like Helter Skelter, I mean, there was a lot of stuff in that Beatles song that still applies today. And we can't even look at that and say, oh, yeah, we've changed that.
Right.
John Lennon, whatever the case might be. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to music being the best outlet, being the best, form of unity. But when you can't even recognize, the systemic bullshit behind it, it's pretty sad. I mean, even going back 30 years ago, when Rage Against the Machine was hot, the stuff that they were singing back, about then during the, LA riots and stuff like that, still it has meaning today.
Yep.
And it's just sad. It's just sad.
Wow.
Because it's not just, Black America that's feeling it. It's everyone.
It's everywhere. Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. Dude, let me tell you what. I have enjoyed this conversation.
Likewise. It was great. I loved it.
See, I love getting down to nit and gritty with people, and like I said, pulling back the curtain and finding out who you really are, and just discussing real topics. And I appreciate you going down that long and windy road with me.
Not a problem. I enjoyed it. Really did.
Dude, that's awesome. We'll definitely be taking a look for your new album next month. But definitely check out the new single Now. Available on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, wherever you get your music. It's available everywhere. But dude, again, thank you so much for your time tonight, especially on a Friday. I appreciate you.
Not a problem. I ain't doing it. I ain't going nowhere.
Me neither.
Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem, man. I would love to have you back on again sometime, though.
Sure, no problem.
All right, man. You have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and I hope everything goes great with the new album.
You too. Thanks, sir.
Hey, no problem, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. Wow, what a great dude. What a great dude. All right. Take a quick commercial break, and we're going to do a new segment. Be back in a minute. Guys, ever wonder how I get this manly beard looking so good? It's all because of Viking Revolution. And at Viking Revolution, not only can you get some great beard balms, but you can also get some great beard oils, as well as some awesome quick shower pads, which helps prevent you stanking up after the gym. Also, these great wet wipes, which help prevent, stanky after going doo-doo. And also some pomades and some other great products, all at Viking Revolution. So do yourself a favor, go to dcproductions.com/sponsors, click on the banner, and get yourself some of these great products. Viking Revolution. Join the revolution. Guys, have you ever wondered how you can help support the channel and also look fucking cool in the process? Go to the link down below, www.dckproductions.com/shop, to get the awesomest merch on the market today. Whether you just want to get one of our plain logos in one of our many different colors, or if you want to get one of our cool graphic tees that just are funny as hell. The choice is yours. But definitely pick up your choice of any one of these shirts in any color, any size, any style that you choose at www.dckproductions.com/shop, or click the link in the bio. Thank you, guys. All right, and we are back. Thanks again to BaShir Hogue. Dude is just a stellar guy. Man, that was good stuff. What a great interview that was. All right, so new segment to close out the week, and I'm gonna start doing this every Friday. And this comes courtesy of from the Today I Learned section on Reddit. So this is gonna be Today I Learned on Sucker Podcast. So today I learned that Jim Carrey was the first actor to have 3 films go straight to #1 in the same year, and that year was 1994. The films were The Mask, Ace Ventura, Pen Detective, and Dumb and Dumber. First of all, I didn't even realize that all 3 of those came out in the same year. Holy crap. But all 3 of them being #1 in that same year is pretty amazing. So I guess it just goes to show you, who Jim Carrey is and was and, stuff like that. That's amazing, though. The first actor to ever do that. It's pretty freaking cool. Today I learned that in 2008, suspected serial murderer Ricky Simons was found dead of heat stroke in the trunk of his ex-girlfriend's car. Investigators on the case believe Simons was waiting in the trunk to ambush and murder his ex-girlfriend when he became locked inside the vehicle. That's pretty fucking funny. I guess that's one way to die. I mean, I guess that's just desserts there on that one. Today I learned that meth was used as an antidepressant from 1930 to 1950. A man named Gordon Alice patented the drug after he was injected with it and found that it became talkative and gained a sense of well-being. So meth was used to treat depression. Can I get some now? Just fucking joking. I'd rather take Lexapro for the rest of my life than ever try meth, but still, that's pretty fucking funny. That's interesting, though. Today I learned the nuclear attack submarine USS Miami was destroyed in 2012 by a civilian painter sandblaster named Casey Fury. He started a fire by igniting some rags in a bunker room. It spread and to cause over $400 million in damage and led to the sub's decommissioning. Fury started the fire to get out of work early. I guess that's one way to, start an early work weekend or whatever. But, causing $400 million worth of damages. And by the way, what kind of idiot starts a fucking fire on a nuclear submarine? Like, for real. I mean, did he never learn about Chernobyl? I mean, fuck. So today I learned, and this was actually a movie about, in 1984, a regular at a pizzeria asked a waitress for help choosing his lottery numbers. He won, came back, and tipped her $3 million. That was actually a movie, so that actually happened in 1984. Today I learned that one of the first methods of recognizing diabetes in patients was through a urine taste test, as ants were attracted to certain people's urine. In 1674, an English doctor named Thomas Willis described diabetic urine as wonderfully sweet, as if it were imbued with honey or sugar. All right. So next time you go to the doctor's office and you want to get a diabetes test, ask your doctor to take a sip. Today I learned that Bob Marley was buried with a Gibson Les Paul guitar, a soccer ball, a marijuana bud, a ring that had been given to him by the Prince Asfa of Ethiopia, and a Bible. A month before his death, he was awarded the Jamaican Order of Merit. I knew about the Gibson guitar, but I didn't know about the soccer ball. That's kind of interesting. Today I learned in 1973, two babies, one from identical twins and another from a single birth, were accidentally switched at birth in Spain. The mistake was discovered 28 years later. A friend of one of the twins was working in a shopping center in Las Palmas. The other identical twin came in to buy something. That's one hell of a way to, figure out that you lost your identical twin at birth. Can you imagine just being there, shopping and walking up, walking down an aisle and then seeing somebody staring back at you that looks exactly like you? It's kind of like that, that old Tom and Jerry stunt where, they were, they think they were looking into a mirror, but in reality, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But that's pretty fucking cool. Good for them, though. I'm glad that they were able to at least reunite after 28 years. But I guess, it's kind of heartbreaking knowing that they went 28 years without even knowing one existed. If they would have known that at least they existed, they could have maybe found each other earlier. But that dumbass fucking hospital fucked that up pretty good. Today I learned the first ever song played on the lunar surface was Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra. Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, took the cassette with him on a mission, and subsequently he played it off when he stepped onto the moon's surface shortly after Armstrong. I did not know that, actually. Today I learned that the French writer Alexandre Dumas, the Count of Monte Cristo, the Count of Monte Cristo and the Three Musketeers, was a black man, and his father was a black general during the French Revolution known as Black Devil, or Diable Noir, standing as one of the highest ranking men in African descent of the French army. That's pretty cool. Good for him. And let's find one more good one here. Today I learned that Teddy Roosevelt was chosen as vice president due to his support of antitrust reform, and conservatives knew the VP had little power. 6 months into term, President McKinley was assassinated and Roosevelt became president, ushering in an unprecedented era of antitrust and labor reforms. Thank God for that. But that's our show for the day. What a week it has been. Please go back and check out all the great fucking things that have happened here this week. Because let me just tell you what, it has been phenomenal. The conversations, the people I've met, and just the stellar group of people that I get to have on this show is beyond me. And I am so grateful for what I have here. And I cannot express my love and everything for you guys, for giving me this wonderful platform to be able to talk to you, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Well, 5 days a week with 2 shows on Monday. I am truly, truly grateful. And that's because of you guys. Whether I've got, somebody, that we all know or somebody that we're just learning about, I always find the story and everything. And, I found the story tonight in BaShir, and The conversation was just phenomenal, and I cannot thank him enough. Everybody this week has just been badass, and again, I'm just super, super grateful for you guys and for the life that you have given me. So for that, I say thank you. Because honestly, without you guys, I have nothing. So thank you. All right, so Monday. 12 o'clock East, 9 a.m. West. Join me and Kat Daniels for the Mental Health Hour. And then Monday night, I have got a really cool, another fantastic musician joining me on Monday that I think you guys are really going to really enjoy. So please come back on Monday for... I had a brain fart here. Simon Lunch. There we go. I don't know how I forgot that. So Simon Lunch will be on the program Monday night at 8 o'clock East, 5 o'clock West. But before that, don't forget, Mental Health Hour with me and Kat Daniels at noon East, 9 West. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for another wonderful week of Suck It. Enjoy your weekend. Spend some time with your family. Kiss your loved ones. Wear a mask. And don't fucking vote for Trump. Stay healthy. Stay happy. And as always, stay fucking heavy. I love you guys. Peace.